Hello and welcome to another Webcam Wednesday, which are the unedited one-take videos I take with a webcam on Wednesday morning because I don't have time. I wanted to talk today about the nature of home education and the tolerance that I think we need to exercise with it. Back when we had our first child, I was coming a couple of years previously from a position where I was implacably opposed to home education to a position where I suppose I considered home education to be about semi-autonomous or maybe autonomous, and I still stand by the idea that autonomous home ed is something that works best for most children. I also believe, however, that structured home ed works very well for other children, and the reason I believe this, and I think I'm going to talk about, sorry, hair everywhere. The reason I want to mention that is because we've got two very different children as far as their character is concerned. One of them mysteriously lacks curiosity, which I actually find fascinating, and as a result, I think probably needed quite a lot of input from us. The other one was definitely a lot more autonomous and able to motivate himself. And this is partly down to presumably differences in personality and cognitive strengths and weaknesses, but also down to who they were emotionally and their background and their past and so forth. And because of that, they have very different needs. Now, I think sometimes what happens is people go into home ed and they know what works for their family and their child, and then they assume that because it works for them, that it's actually going to work for everyone. Now, the reason I don't think that really works is that it's actually a little bit like approving of school, because if somebody thinks that school works for their child, they know their child better than everybody else, and they are, if they actually have considered it, probably they are likely to be right. Although I have to say that my own experience of that means that school would only be right for a very small minority of children, although my mind is open to that idea. And in the same way, structured or autonomous or something else, I mean also the content of the education, such as the classical style, Montessori, anthroposophical approaches, John Holt's approach, or a liberal arts education, which is the sort of thing that I have the most sympathy for in mainstream education, or a professional or technical education. All of those things, both the content and the style, of course the style will determine the content, because if you put the child at the centre, then it's the child that's going to be doing the content, are actually probably down to either what the child understands is best for it, or what works best for that family, or for the parent and the child, or whatever. And it's very easy, because you've seen something to work really well for a particular child, like your child, to think that that would work well for everybody. But we don't actually know that, because we only have our own experience, and we can't impose that on anyone else. We wouldn't want people to impose school on us, and in the same way, we shouldn't really want to impose them a particular style of home ed and particular content, if the content is relevant, i.e. if it's not autonomous, on that child. I suppose I want to say one more thing, which is that I think the best way of home educating, if you are going to be autonomous, would be to have a varied and involved and self-sufficient lifestyle, because then they are likely to be exposed to a wide range of practical experiences, which would make it work for them, because then they're going to learn by doing or observation, or learn through play more easily because of the variation there. So that's all I want to say today. What I want to say. Okay, if you like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, share. If you dislike this video, please tell me why, so I can improve. There'll be various call-outs there'll be various annotations on this video that you can click on to find things. I'm going to put those in a second. Right, see you tomorrow.